Bonjour Year 7. Welcome to your first French lesson with the new topic of weather, la météo. And here's the list of equipment you need to get ready before the lesson. You will need your French exercise book, a pen, a ruler, and a different coloured pen or highlighter pen. Also, could you download and print off, if you have a printer, the sentence builder, which is on class charts, and the knowledge organiser for module 4, which is also on class charts. Merci. Thank you for uploading your work onto class charts from last lesson. Please remember to upload evidence of all of your completed work, both your book work and anything you do on Quizlet as well. And please make sure you follow the indicated time on each slide. Don't go over that. If you do have any questions, please email me, and here is my email address. As always, copy la date, copy the date, mercredi 24 février. Then on the next line down in the middle of your page, write down the title in French and in English, la météo, the weather. Don't forget your accents on both of the E's of météo. And then write down your objective, l'objectif, to learn how to talk about the weather. Make sure you've neatly underlined your date in your title. Press pause to do that now. Press play to go to the do now. Okay, your do now activity should take about 10 minutes. What I want you to do is choose the correct verbs in the sentences below. There's 3 different options as a verb, and you just choose the correct one based on who the sentence is talking about. Write the sentence in full, just like you see in the example, where you have le lundi, je pars. Is it je pars, je partant, or je pars with a T, avec mes amis? Well, if you look back at your sentence builder and your notes from last lesson, the correct ending for I leave is je pars with an S on the end, avec mes amis. So I want you to do the same thing for numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Write the full sentence with the correct option of verb, using your notes and sentence builder to help you. Press pause to do that now. Press play to go and check your answers. So here are your answers. Le samedi, mes amis écoutent or écoutent de la musique. Well, it's my friends, and so it's they, and so it's the ENT form, the écoute. Tick it if it's correct, change it if it's incorrect using a different coloured pen. 2. Le week-end, mes amis et moi regardons la télé. Here we've got the first person plural because it's my friends and I, so we have to use the we form, regardons. 3. Le vendredi, mon frère joue, and that's with an E, aux jeux vidéo. Okay, that's the he form of the verb jouer. 4. Le mercredi, ma sœur finit ses devoirs, and finit ends in IT because it's the she form of the verb. And finally, numéro 5. Le jeudi, je vends des bonbons. Vend ends in an S here because it's the I form. Double check your work. Correct anything you need to in a different coloured pen and give a big tick if it's correct. Well done. Have a good lesson with Miss Cooke. Au revoir.
So, as I said, today we're going to be looking at a new topic. We're looking at the weather. Now, we're going to first do what we usually do, which is pronunciation. So I'm going to repeat the time phrase, and then I'm going to repeat the weather, and I'm going to say each of them twice, and then you're going to say them back to me. So my turn, I say them twice, and then it's your turn, and you say them back to me. Remember, it's really important that you're practicing these at home. And even if you think that you might sound a bit silly in front of your computer chanting them, it's really important to keep up the speaking practice for that, so that when we do go back to school soon, you'll be able to say all of these words, and you'll be able to pick them out, pick out the different words as well when you're busy listening to me as well in French. Okay, let's begin. So let's begin with the time phrase. Au printemps. Au printemps. En été. En été. En automne. En automne. En hiver. En hiver. Aujourd'hui. Aujourd'hui. Okay, we're moving on now to the weather section. So we've got il fait chaud. Il fait chaud. Il fait froid. Il fait froid. Il fait beau. Il fait beau. Il fait mauvais. Il fait mauvais. Il y a des averses. Il y a des averses. Il y a des nuages. Il y a des nuages. Il y a une tempête. Il y a une tempête. Il y a du brouillard. Il y a du brouillard. Il y a du soleil. Il y a du soleil. Il y a du vent. Il y a du vent. Il pleut. Il pleut. Il neige. Il neige. Amazing. So we've practiced now our time phrases on our weather. Let's move on now to finishing my sentence. I'm going to read you a sentence, but there's one word that I am not going to finish. I'm not going to say it properly. I'm not going to say the whole word. So I will start saying it. I'm going to start saying, for example, aujourd'hui, il y a des nœuds. You're going to be writing the full sentence, but you're going to be underlining the part the word that I don't say. So, aujourd'hui, il y a des nœuds. So I said, aujourd'hui, il y a des nœuds. What do we think could be the word that begins with the nœud bit? Numéro 2, number 2. En été, il fait b. En été, il fait b. Number 3, aujourd'hui, il fait mo. Aujourd'hui, il fait mo. Next one, en automne, il y a du v. En automne, il y a du v. If there's something that you didn't quite catch, then feel free to go back over the sentence that I said. If you've got all of your 4 sentences, then amazing. And check your correction. Okay, so first one was aujourd'hui il y a des nuages. So I said aujourd'hui il y a des nœuds. And the nœud is for nuage. Number 2, en été il fait beau. So I said en été il fait beau. So it's en été il fait beau. 3, aujourd'hui il fait mau. Aujourd'hui il fait mauvais. Aujourd'hui il fait mauvais. 4, en automne il y a du vent. So I said en automne il y a du v. So en automne il y a du vent. Check your answers, correct any mistakes that you've made before continuing with your lesson. Okay, we're now going to find a sound. So we're going to do a different activity now that we might not have done yet before in class. I'm going to give you a sound. So for example, the A sound, and I would like you to write any words in the sentence field that have that sound. So if it's the A, so something like neige, it's got that A sound. Neige, ège, it's got the A sound. What other words in here have got the A sound? Apart from neige. Okay, so now that you've got the A sound, you're now going to look for the O sound. So things like chaud has got the O, chaud. Remember, it doesn't just have to look like an O, like an O. It could be like in chaud. That AU sounds as well like an O. So you got chaud, and then I would like you to find other words as well in the sentence that sound like O. If you're struggling with this, then go back to the bit when we did our pronunciation and listen to me saying the different words again and try and pick out which ones, as I said, sound like A, like the neige, or the O, like chaud. And the last one that I would like you to find is the A sound, so like in averse. Averse, that A sound. So you have the A sound in neige, the O sound like chaud, and then the A sound like averse. Spend the next 5 minutes trying to find those different sounds. Go back, as I said, to the pronunciation bit if you're struggling. Okay, let's see what we came up with. So for the A sound, we had neige, and then we had tempête, hiver, and averse. So neige, tempête, hiver, and averse. We had the O sound, like in chaud, beau, soleil, mauvais, automne, aujourd'hui, and soleil. So we've got chaud, beau, soleil, mauvais, automne, and aujourd'hui. So we can tell that that O sound isn't just the O, it's also found when we put the A and the U together, it also makes an O sound. And the third one you had to find was the A sound, like an averse, and it could also be found in nuage, nuage. So pause your video, check that you've got all of the same words that I have for those different sounds. Make sure that you write both the sound and the words before you keep going with your lesson. Okay, now we're going to write down the words that have a silent letter. So I'm going to read you a sentence, and I would like you to write down the word in that sentence that has a silent letter. So a word that has certain letters that I don't say. So number 1, numéro 1. Aujourd'hui, il y a du brouillard. Aujourd'hui, il y a du brouillard. Think in that sentence. Aujourd'hui, il y a du brouillard. What word in that sentence has got certain letters that haven't been said? That was number 1. Numéro 2. Au printemps, il y a du soleil. Au printemps, il y a du soleil. Number 3. En hiver, il fait mauvais. En hiver, il fait mauvais. Number 4. En été, il fait chaud. En été, il fait chaud. Remember that if these are going too quickly, that you can pause and then you can go back and listen to them again if you need to. Okay, what we found. Aujourd'hui, il y a du brouillard. So brouillard was the word that had a silent letter because we don't pronounce that D at the end. We don't say brouillard, we say brouillard. Number 2, au printemps, il y a du soleil. So there were 2 in this one. In printemps, we don't say the P or the S because that doesn't sound like printemps. There's printemps. And then soleil, we don't say that L. We say soleil. En hiver, il fait mauvais. So we don't pronounce the T at the end of fait. We don't say fait. Il fait. And then mauvais, again, we don't pronounce that consonant at the end. We don't pronounce the S. We just say il fait mauvais. 4. En été, il fait chaud. Again, the fait, just like the one above, we don't say the T. And chaud, same, we don't say that consonant at the end. We don't say the, we just say chaud. We don't say that D. As a rule of thumb, it's good to remember that in French, if at the end of the sentence there's a consonant, most of the time we do not pronounce the consonants at the end of words in French. If you'd like to write down your books, that's a really good thing to remember, that in French, we do not pronounce consonants at the end of words most of the time. Because obviously there's some exceptions, like en hiver, hiver, we say that R. But most of the time, if there's a consonant, especially if it's followed, if it's got a vowel in front of it, we don't say it at the end of the sentence. So pause your video, make any corrections before continuing with your lesson. Okay, we're now going to do some dictation. I'm going to read you some sentences in French. As always, I will read you the sentences twice, and you will write these sentences in your books in French. So, let us begin. Numéro 1. En automne, il y a une tempête. En automne, il y a une tempête. 2. Aujourd'hui, il neige. Aujourd'hui, il neige. 3. En hiver, il y a du soleil. En hiver, il y a du soleil. 4. Au printemps, il y a des averses. Au printemps, il y a des averses. Those were your 4 sentences. Remember, you can go back over my recording if you need to listen to these sentences again. If not, then check your corrections. So, first one, en automne, il y a une tempête. 2, aujourd'hui il neige. 3, en hiver, il y a du soleil. 4, au printemps, il y a des averses. Those were your 4 sentences. Check your answers, correct any spelling mistakes. Make sure you got the accents. For example, on tempête, you need to have that accent circumflex. You need to have that little hat on top of the E. Really important. Okay, if you got all 4 sentences, then let's keep moving. We're now going to write down the sentences in French, I say in English. We're going to do what we call a different type of dictation. I say to you a sentence in English, and you're writing that sentence in French. So you're not writing the sentences in English, so you're writing the sentence in French. That is the translation of what I'm saying in English. So you're writing 4 sentences in French in your books. So the first one is, today it's stormy. Today it's stormy. Number 2, in the autumn it rains. In the autumn, it rains. Number 3, in the summer, it is hot. In the summer, it is hot. And number 4, in the winter, it is cold. In the winter, it is cold. Okay, so you've got 4 sentences. Go back if you need to, and if you got all 4 sentences, then keep going to check your answers. Number 1 was aujourd'hui il y a une tempête, because I said today there was a storm. En automne il pleut, in autumn it rains. En été il fait chaud, in the summer it is hot. En hiver il fait froid, in the winter it is cold. Once again, check your sentences, check that you've got these the spellings correct. So for example, été, you need those 2 accents, the accent, the acute accent on the E, on both E's, and like tempête, we need the accent circonflexe, we need that little hat on top of the E. So just make sure that you've got everything as it should be before you move on. Okay, we're now going to spend 10 minutes completing the following activities on Quizlet. So you're going to follow the link on class charts. You're then going to complete the activities learn and write. You're finally going to complete the test activity, and you're going to upload a screenshot of your score to class charts. So pause the video, go onto class charts, access the Quizlet, spend 10 minutes on the completing activity learn and write and completing the test activity. Don't forget to take a screenshot of your score where I can see the title of the quiz on it, and then come back to the lesson to finish the last few activities. Okay, so now welcome back after your Quizlet learning. I hope that you found that fun, and I hope that you've learned a lot, because we're now going to translate the sentences below. I don't need you to write the 6 English sentences, I would just like you to write the French translation of these 6 sentences. In order to translate them, use what you've learned on Quizlet, use your sentence builder, use your class notes, and use your knowledge organizer to translate the sentences below. So pause the video, spend 10 minutes translating these 6 sentences into French, and only write in the French, and then come back to check your answers. So in the summer it is windy, en été il y a du vent. In the spring it is sunny, au printemps il y a du soleil. Today it is bad weather, aujourd'hui il fait beau. In the winter it snows, en hiver il neige. In the autumn it rains, en automne il pleut. Today there are showers, aujourd'hui il y a des averses. So those are our 6 sentences. Check that you've got the same as I do in your books. Make any corrections if you need to. Check that you've got accurate spellings. And if you've got all of that, then move on to the last part of the lesson.
Fantastic work today, Year 7. I hope you enjoyed your first lesson on the weather. Please now upload a really clear photo of all of your classwork in your book and a photo of your Quizlet score, and put these on class charts to get a very well-deserved achievement point. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.